You are watching Access LaPorte County, Channel 97. Coming up next is the March 26, 2024 meeting of LaPorte County Regional Sewer and Water District Board. You can find more information for this meeting by visiting www.accesslaportecounty.org.
Call the meeting of the LaPorte County Regional Sewer and Water District to order. Can we please rise and salute the flag?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call.
John Carr,
Here.
Marcella Kunstig, here. Jerry Jackson,
Here.
Mitch Bishop,
Here.
Mark Danielson, Amanda Laners, here. We have a quorum.
Okay. Minutes from February 27th.
Make a motion to accept.
Second. We got a motion and a second to approve the minutes from February 27th. Are there any questions on the motion? Proceed to vote. All those in favor signify by word aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Ayes have it. Next item is public comment. Anyone wishing to speak needs to state their name and address for the record, and we'll have 3 minutes to speak. Is there anybody here for public comment?
I'd like to speak.
Sure.
My name is Christina Soder. This is my husband, Nicholas Soder. We're from 212 West Mechanic Street in Rolling Prairie. We've actually lived there since 2008. Right now he's handing out some information printed off from the Indiana Health State Department listing some of the contaminants found in biohazardous materials such as wastewater found in the sanitary sewer. In February, as you may have known or not known, I know you had a meeting on the 27th, but there was an overflow onto our property. I have 3 small children, 5, 3, and 1. There were several gallons that overflowed. The cleanup efforts were not satisfactory. They sprayed all of the lime into our yard. I have spoke to a soil scientist and several other soil water health departments. And they mentioned contacting the health department to get a soil testing because, as you may know, these contaminations can cover themselves in protective coatings, withstand freezing temperatures, and acidic pHs as well. So they can survive on surfaces for very long periods of time. I had requested, I requested a soil testing from Amanda at the health department, who forwarded my information to Jennifer at JPR. I have sent a couple emails and received no reply. I spoke to a member of the Board of Health for a different county, and she said technically, with it being biohazardous material, that they should have removed and replaced the top 4 inches of soil. I'm not asking for that. I would just like a soil test to make sure it's safe for my kids. We also have a garden that we grow out of each year. We've done for several years. We can peppers, tomatoes. My kids pick snap peas. They help themselves freely to the garden, which is also right where the contamination happened. We have 2 parcels on each side of the manhole, and so it overflowed into both. So yes, I have not heard back from the health department or JPR in reference to a soil testing. I talked to the soil and water department of LaPorte. They said to call the health department. The registered soil scientist said call the health department. Another member of the health department of a different county said that it should have been replaced. We would like a generator on the unit. I understand that this might have been a one-time mishap. But like I said, I have a 5, 3, and a 1-year-old, and we do lose power in the country quite often. So if all those units lose power at the same time, I do believe that electric fed line just to the alarm system is not sufficient, that there actually needs to be electric to the unit if we lose power. Can anyone possibly tell me how many gallons one household produces of wastewater each day? Does anybody know how many gallons approximately?
Around 300.
One household produces about 300 gallons a day. And then how much does a major contributor such as a tavern produce in one day?
That's a little harder to say because that's very, very variable.
How about on Super Bowl weekend? You think they were busy?
Harder to say, but
Yeah.
larger.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Fact, if they-
500, 1,000? What do you think? Like approximately?
I don't know.
Okay.
Most of the sewage stayed in the sewer system because there's a great deal of storage inside the sewer system. So, most of the sewage stayed in the sewer system, and you saw what overflowed.
Yeah, there was a truck that came and pumped 2,100 gallons. It came 3 times, and it pumped 2,100 gallons out of that tank. Just was wondering. Anyways.
I
So-
sent your email downstate requesting soil test down to the health department, kind of looking for some feedback. I didn't get any feedback from the state. Soil tests, you're probably not going to get soil tests for this list, but you could get soil tests for something like fecal coliform.
Yeah, we did get our well water tested, and before my time runs out, I just want to mention that the state does have programs now where you can check for COVID and other kind of viruses in the water. I'm not sure if it's state funded, but maybe something you can look into to monitor the viruses that are in the sewage. So I know there are those options.
You can do that with sewage for sure, and I've done
Yeah.
that. I'm not sure with a soil sample we can test for these particular. If we were going to sample, we'd want to sample at the spill site and then adjacent, because generally you find there's fecal and coliform in general in every soil sample you take. So if you take it from your yard somewhere well away from, you're going to get a positive. If you
Yeah, I
take
can't imagine how much is in there now since the
Well,
overflow
I'm just
has
saying that
happened.
don't
Yeah.
be a positive no matter where you sample.
Right.
It's just a relative amount of scale, whether it's high or low compared to the general. Because we found that in every storm puddle you pull a sample from, there's coliform. That's
Yeah.
just, people
They
walk
can measure
dogs,
parts
there's
per
birds.
million. Is
What's
that,
that?
can they measure parts per million like they do with the water, the well water as well?
They do colonies per 100 mLs
So
generally.
maybe there could be like a scale that they'd be able to tell what's the safe level or not, right?
It is. There's a concentration. Yeah, for sure.
So maybe just to look into that.
So my question is, can we do a soil sample for her?
We could.
Yeah.
Yeah, for that kind of, for fecal, that kind of thing, we could do that for coliform.
Yeah, Gardasil, it can cause some really bad gastrointestinal issues. I have a child who's fighting Lyme's disease, and her immune system is immune compromised.
Do we have somebody that we use, Jennifer, for something like that? Or Dan, would you know? Or you too, Jer, I'm sorry.
We use ALS. They've done it for us before.
Yeah, I see that
that's-
they can test for like caffeine and artificial sweeteners and pharmaceuticals. So I would assume, and I even spoke with the state labs. They said try calling the Marion County Health Department since I wasn't receiving much response from the LaPorte County Health Department. Maybe the state would be able to assist me in that instead.
Well, I think that's where Jerry sent the email. And
Yeah, the solid
good. Thank you.
soil samples based on the EPA's protocol, and it's geared on, is it safe to eat the soil?
Yeah, we would like to
Recommend
grow.
eating soil anywhere, but that's
I haven't started my peppers and tomatoes yet. We're thinking about moving our garden to the other side yard just to be safe.
Yeah, I think it's something we should do.
Yeah, we can.
I think it would be
I'd be okay with doing
You know.
sampling and all that.
For sure.
I would make a motion that we sample the soil at this household, where we had the issue.
What contaminants would you be sampling for?
My God.
This E. coli?
No, I would like maybe we could ask the state because the printout is from the Indiana State Health Department. So it's not just E. coli. There's pathogens. There's bacterias. There's viruses. There's bugs, like nasty things that.
That's where I was going. It's very, very difficult and maybe not possible to sample for that whole range of things.
Maybe we could work with
They
a
generally
registered
use-
soil scientist and
they
see what
generally-
they would think.
Generally use indicator organisms, fecal coliform, and say if that's high, well then the soil's contaminated, we need to do something about it. If that's low, we know that the soil's not. It's impractical to sample for these sort of things. The technology is just not.
I disagree.
I think we need to, my opinion is we need to take a sample for anything that could be detrimental to kids.
Do they
or-
have like maybe a baseline? Does AIS have like different categories or different things that they would check for, Jerry? Do you know?
That's where I was going.
Yeah.
This EPA and state uses an indicator organism
Okay.
to show that there's contamination of sewage. It's very hard to do this list.
Okay.
Those things that technology is just not readily available.
Especially when they can test for COVID and viruses, maybe like rotavirus, things like that.
I think the issue, though, that I'm hearing, and I don't know a darn thing about it, is these items probably could be tested in water or sewage, but soil testing, I think is what he's saying, does not have the ability to test all that litany of stuff. Soil testing.
I'll do some more.
I don't know, but I mean,
That's my-
if they do, they do. But it sounds like Jerry and Amanda would be our resident experts.
Yeah.
And if we don't, I mean, if the technology isn't there, the technology isn't there. We'll be happy to test whatever's there, but we can't test what can't be tested in soil.
Yeah.
My assumption is if they could test for it in water, why wouldn't they be able to test for it in soil, especially if there's a baseline?
It's a different media. It's difficult.
But we can at least
We could test for whatever we can soil wise.
get somebody out there and do a sample for you, and then we can revisit it after we get results.
The soil scientist did say maybe 2-3 months it would be safe with the heat, light, and water. But of course, with the cold temperatures and the snow, that hasn't helped the process.
The lime is definitely, very high pH and generally will deactivate any viruses or bacteria.
Would there need to be a
Nice.
reapplication, Jer, after, or is it just one time?
We gotta be a little careful or we'll kill our grass.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
too much soil
Rather
pH
kill.
will kill the
I'm not
grass.
worried about my grass, just my
Right.
children. and
Yeah.
my food.
Yeah.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'd like to meet with you and pick sample sites when we get to doing that.
Email us and have it scheduled so that we can be there as well. to see where we pull samples from.
Are you guys gonna stay till the meeting's over to give us some? Okay. Or you already have their contact?
Got all your contact.
Okay.
Okay. So we have a motion, and was there a second?
Second.
To do a soil test at, what was the address? Or where the spill was?
212 West Mechanic Street,
212 West Mechanic Street
Bowling Prairie.
in New Prairie, Rolling Prairie.
And then we have decided, right? Didn't we at the last meeting? Didn't we discuss the generator?
We did, but we didn't have a resolution because we were still wondering about cost.
Okay. And you're gonna tell us all about that, right? Okay.
Any questions on the motion?
No.
Proceed to vote. All those in favor signify by word aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Ayes have it. Okay, anybody else for public comment? Anybody on Zoom for public comment? Okay, moving on. Next on the agenda is report. Steve Carter, Claims and Finance.
Okay, for the month of February, starting with Hudson-Saugony, we had interest income of $10,020. Total expenditures for the project, $129,070. Ending balance, $2,366,669. For Rolling Prairie, we had receipts of $54,307, expenses of $3,959, plus the loan and the loan principal of $1,830. Ending cash balance $242,081. A note on receipts. There was a deposit. The toll road deposit was actually made into the Rolling Prairie account, so I need to write a check back over for that. So that's inflated by $24,883 or something like that.
28.
28,000. Yeah. Of that 242,000, 203,534 was in the operation and maintenance fund, 6,233 in debt service reserve, and 32,314 in bond and interest. For toll road, no receipts for the month, but I'll get that check written over. Disbursements of $20,057. Interest income of $1,694. Ending balances $452,234. $103,032 of that was in the operation and maintenance fund, and the balance of $349,202 is in the improvement fund. Any questions on financials? Okay, for claims, we have claims for the month of $78,296.87.
Entertain a motion to pay the claims.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to pay the claims. Are there any questions? Proceed to vote. All those in favor signify by word aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Ayes have it.
Was that motion, Jerry?
Pay the claims.
Chair.
It was.
And then moving on to Asbury.
I don't.
Chris
see
isn't
Chris
here.
on. Was it him that said he wasn't going to be on? I don't see a lot in here. Looks like the ultraviolet disinfection unit was installed March 12th. Other than that, I'm not seeing anything else that they have.
Yep. Okay. Moving on to JPR. Billings, collections, liens, permit, inspection fees.
Okay, just your normal report, end of month report with your information on the accounts is enclosed, nothing new.
Okay. Moving on to phase 2 update.
All right, thanks guys. Don't really have a whole lot on phase 2 for this month. PDR amendment number 4 was submitted and publicly advertised after the last meeting. We're just waiting on SRF's response. Move on to Hudson Saugony. All right. Regarding Hudson Saugony, with the attached memo, just a couple of updates. We are currently working on the design of the wastewater plant improvements that I outlined last week. That involved putting a manual screen box on the corner of the surge tank at the wastewater plant at Travel Plaza 3, and tying both the Saugony pump station force main and the Travel Plaza force main into this box together, so that we're going to essentially use what's currently an unused tank out there, except for supernatant off of the digester. We're going to use that as an EQ basin, essentially, to help kind of buffer flows out. I need to do some coordination with Aeromod regarding the improvements that we need to do to some of the airlines on the clarifiers out there. We discussed this with Asbury, and they had indicated that they need a little bit more volume of air out there at the clarifiers, so we're going to make that improvement as well when we're doing the project. Kind of a big note on the collection system side of things. Steve Henshin and I drove the toll road project limits and observed the existing 30 or 40 foot easement. I can't remember exactly how wide it was, on the south right-of-way line of the toll road. And we found a lot of issues with using that as our force main route. Most notably, there are some very steep swales and guardrail all over the place. which is going to make it really difficult for your guys' operator to get out to service air release valve stations and any issues with the pipe that may happen out there in toll road right of way. So we've made the decision to pivot to using county road right of way. For this reason, we've actually already flown all the survey. We're picking up existing utilities and revising the alignment as we speak. But basically, our large diameter force main from pump station number 7 at Saugony Lake will be wrapping around the neighborhood on the north side, and then following is it Novitiate Road south and over to the Travel Plaza property. At which point we'll run south along that property for, we'll be 15 or 20 feet inside the property line on district owned property at that point. So that'll make access much easier.
Is it fully in the county right away with by easement?
It'll be fully in the county right away or on property owned by the district.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
So there won't be any additional easements or anything necessary as part of this. But there may be a chance that for the Hudson station, we can use the toll road right-of-way section. It was a lot better than the section from Saugony to Travel Plaza 3. But, I mean, you'd be talking about having to build an access road off of the toll road to get, or off of private lots, the backs of private lots. To get there, you'd have to cross large swales because there's just some really steep terrain throughout that area.
You're going from down, well, I guess it's Novitsia, I guess. I didn't know that. 500 east?
Yeah.
Heading south down to what, 700?
Yep, down to 700 and then over to, is that 425?
25.
Yep.
And Newt Rockland Plaza.
And at 425, we're going to cross 425 and run through district owned property because the district owns those lots that the water plant and wastewater plant are on. We're going to run on that property since we already own it, so we don't have to be in the right of way.
Much better.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that area, since you got to use county right away, with those individual homes, could they also hook up?
No, they're not part of the district.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Where's the main pump station?
It's a
at Saugony?
northeast corner of Saugony at, I can't remember the street names.
800 runs parallel to the toll road.
Yeah, like
800 and 600.
that's it. Yeah, it's the northwest corner of that intersection. There's the parcel there is the Rukavina property that I think you had.
I have some
Yep.
more information on
There's a
that.
map in there.
But it's on that parcel.
This clarification. What do you mean not part of the district?
They're not part of the district service boundary as part of the Hudson Saugony Lake project. Also,
Because technically they're part of the district.
right, because they're in the county.
Sounds like, huh?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Not part of the project study area. Let me put it that way.
Project limits.
But the other thing is, I'm not sure that you would necessarily want those homes tying in because that's a force main.
Yeah.
It's not a pressure sewer. It doesn't have other homes tied in, and you can open up a can of worms if you start connecting to that. It's not a big deal if you do a handful of them, like we found out with the force main going to LaPorte. But if you start allowing big chunks of them, then the pumps start affecting how the other pumps operate.
Would the pump station then be at that intersection on the north side of 800 between the road and the toll road?
Yes. Yep. There's like a 20-foot little skinny parcel there. Yeah. Yep. That's where, and it'll be alongside the road. It'll be kind of a. Everything will be. You won't drive back to access the pump station. You'll pull alongside it. Yes. Yep.
There aren't very, there's one home in there I see across the street. Other than that, it looks pretty remote.
Yeah. And there's natural gas service out there, so should be good for having a gen set. Yeah. Other than that, we're still on track to have this thing ready to be submitting for permits in end of April.
Dan, does it do anything to the project cost significantly one way or the other?
In fact, the pre-selected pumps for Pump Station 7, they won't change. We'll still use the exact same pumps.
Great.
Sweet.
I think it may add a few 100 feet of pipe, but it's not significant. And it largely outweighs the cost you'd spend building access roads.
Gotcha.
Can't even imagine.
Yeah.
It'd be directional drilled down the highway right away.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll do directional drilling for all of it. So keep disturbance at a minimum.
Dan, can you confirm for me that we do not need to update an accounting report and rate report for the updated PER filing?
I know we need to issue an asset management plan certification. I don't think we need to do either of the others.
Okay.
I was going to request the district to give John authorization to sign an updated asset management plan cert out of this meeting. I don't have a copy. Oh, you have it with you?
I have one, but it's not got the amount filled in for the capital
Okay.
asset needs in the next 5 years, so we can have him sign it and then fill that information in.
Yeah, that
I don't know.
Or we can fill it in
prepare
and send it to John. It's
Yeah.
up- yeah.
Whatever.
So does that need to be a motion?
Is this for the Hudson Saugony, right?
Correct,
Not
yeah.
the PER amendment that's done and
Right.
already submitted.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the asset management plan.
I don't know that you'd really need a motion. I mean, you're the president of the board. You have authority to do things like that. I think you're fine whenever they get
Yeah, so
they get the asset plan updated with the right figures. I think you sign it.
Yep.
All right.
When they're,
It's informing the board of a fairly significant design change, right? That's
Yeah.
So I'll email it to you, John.
Okay.
When we get done, you can return it that way. All right. Otherwise, we're still rolling on meetings with property owners and things like that. Holding off on meetings with Hudson Lake property owners for the time being till funding is secured for that.
How you doing with that? What as if you would have put percentage on?
Oh, you got me on the spot. I'm not sure.
I got a couple questions from people.
Yeah, I'm not sure, but I could figure it out for you. Okay, we already touched on asset management plan cert. Oh, regarding the pump station 3 down there at Poplar and Mechanic Street that these folks were just discussing.
Yeah.
I thought we did discuss a generator last month, and we determined not to move forward with it.
you had mentioned you had one that JPR had one that was left over from the job, and you were going to see what that was worth.
I could take a further look into it to see what we'd be willing to sell it to the district for.
I know we discussed because there's several that we would have to put in, right? If we
Generators.
Potentially.
So potentially, we should also note that station already has a generator receptacle on it that's compatible with the city of LaPorte's portable generator, so that in the case of a power outage, Jerry could just have his guys tow the trailer out there and hook it up and pump it down.
There's about 2-3 days of storage in the sewer
Yeah,
system.
and the issue.
If we can get notice on a timely basis, then we're great.
Well, the issue with the overflow that happened a month or so ago was that there was also a SCADA failure, and Jerry didn't know it happened.
Yep.
So it was kind of the
AT&T
perfect
went-
storm of two things going down at once.
Oh, wow.
AT&T went down, and we did know there was no SCADA, but we knew there were local alarms.
Yeah.
So if there was a problem, a local alarm get off, get a call.
Do the
But
property
then-
owners get an alarm too?
Wasn't there no power to the station as well?
Correct.
Well, that's what I'm saying. There was 2 failures. Our remote failed. AT&T failed, so we didn't have SCADA. We didn't have remote alarming, but there was local alarming because there was power, and then AEP killed the power at the station. We think they misapplied a payment.
That was when I remember the cell phones were down
Yeah, right.
at the same
right,
time
right.
on AT&T.
Yep.
Yeah.
Let's get a
So
price.
yeah, there were
Sure,
2
I-
failures that resulted in that.
The
Yeah.
generator would fix that.
Especially with the tavern being a large contributor.
Okay. Yeah. Well, I'll go and take a look at it today.
Do we know how many are unmanned with generators?
That's a good question.
Do we know? We have two that are maybe unmanned right now with generators. Would that be
Or two with generators.
two with generators? What would be our total?
There's four.
Four.
There's
Or
four
without.
sanitary pump stations, as we'll call them, without generators, but they have the receptacle for the city of LaPorte's portable generator.
But again,
used
like the
on them.
perfect storm,
If the storm
Yeah.
goes out and Jerry doesn't
Yeah.
know that there's an outage,
right?
yeah, then he wouldn't know to go out there unless the
It was a very particular outage because if there had been an outage in Rolling Prairie, we'd have got indication because we've got skated all those other pump stations.
right.
So can we get a price to make sure all four are covered by a generator, just so we can see how much it's going to cost us?
Sure.
So it'll be 4 times whatever the individual price is, pretty much.
Okay.
The stations are all identical. They have the exact same pumps in them. So
Yeah, we can have it something to us probably before we get together for the next meeting.
I'd say so. Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
And looking at Hudson and Saucony, maybe consider, what's going on there as far as design and
Oh, Hudson Saucony already has.
Generators.
Yeah,
included in
it's
all
already
of them.
it's already planned out that way.
Two large stations,
Yeah.
2 generators.
Yeah, we had a bunch of small stations on Rolling Prairie because of the terrain.
Yeah.
Because there's a gravity sewer and because of the terrain. So for that reason, we needed a couple of smaller package pump station, which is the type that overflowed.
Makes sense. All right, thank you.
Okay.
thanks.
Jerry, you said you had like 2 or 3 days. If it wasn't
For storage underground. Storage in the
because the
storage.
pipes are only.
Pipes
you
don't
don't
use
use
the
them.
manholes have capacity.
Okay. That's why you had so many backed up gallons.
Right. Right. We were hauling out, emptying the sewer system overall.
All right. That's all I got. Thanks.
As part of that Hudson Saucony project, I believe I sent you a purchase packet that was just like last month, except for I'm not sure in the purchase agreement if I got that on the boardable, but Barry reviewed it and had a couple changes. The changes were made on the one I have, which was basically there was a wrong county in there and it was just changed to LaPorte. In addition to that, I just found out this morning that the attorney representing them got in touch with Ken, and they would also like to add in there their $600 attorney fees
Jesus.
into the agreement.
I mean, it's up to the board. It's up to JPR. I mean, having been on the other side of people who've negotiated with folks like Mitch for, when the county's getting right of ways, and it's not unusual. I mean, and that fee certainly is reasonable.
I would think it's pretty reasonable
Right.
for.
So
Do you need board approval?
Yeah, for the purchase agreement, and we can revise it and send it because I just got that information this morning.
Okay.
So if they want to approve the purchase agreement and John signing it once it.
Now, this is the purchasing land for the pump station at Saucony, is that what I'm?
Yeah.
Yeah. For 10.
That is pretty standard. I agree.
Okay.
Right.
With the attorney fees, Mitch?
Yes.
Did someone make a motion?
I make a motion to approve.
Second.
So we got a motion, a second, to approve the purchase agreement with Ricky. Do I have to say the name?
Please.
With to pay the attorney fees for $600. Are there any questions on the motion? Proceed to vote. All those in favor signify by word aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Ayes have it. Do we have to approve the purchase agreement, or was that kind of
We did.
Just one question.
That's what you
with the
did.
fees?
Yeah,
Okay.
it's fine.
The yellow outline of the property we're buying goes to the center of the road. Do the property lines go to the center of the road? Or am I misunderstanding it?
No, this shows
Oops.
red way. Well, I don't know what the.
Yeah. not cooperating.
Here's the thing, if you want to look at it. You got it? Oh. I think did you look at the next one?
Yeah,
Could take looks.
I'm not sure. That one shows the same thing.
Oh, does it?
Yeah.
I mean, it could go either way.
Yeah.
Anywhere we can save. Anywhere we can save.
Okay.
Because they kind of have us over here.
That's
I guess it wouldn't be that unusual that you would own to the center of the road, but subject to the county's right.
County's right away, yeah.
And that is sometimes factored in to an appraised value at a much, much reduced rate as opposed to that portion of the homeowner's
Can't
land
build
that isn't.
much on.
Can't build much on a right of way.
Oh, no.
So,
Okay.
but I remember that I saw that along a project that the county had for the Singing Sands Trail along Highway 12 in outside of Michigan City. So I know that there are areas of the county where you run into that.
Okay. Where were we?
Yeah, doing pretty good there.
Looking at the value of these.
Moving on to executive committee, is that where we're at? We're done with Hudson
Income
County?
study update. I was just gonna let you know that that will still be happening. You guys voted okay for that last month. Ken is still working out the details with the funding sources, so we will still be doing that once we get that figured out.
Okay.
Okay, is that it for Hudson Saugony?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, moving on. Executive committee. Engineering committee, none. Notice of statutory exemption and extension of service letter.
And that again will be once this project's ready. I got the wording from Amanda to put in there, so that will be sent out to all the property owners at that time.
Okay.
Okay, nothing else under executive committee? Moving on to new business. Next meeting's April 23rd. Pre-agenda meeting,
Yeah.
April 16th.
You know, it shouldn't be a problem.
Steve Carter engagement letter.
I didn't get that out to everybody because I got it.
Yeah, I sent it late yesterday to just John, Marcy, and Jennifer, and I gave a copy to Mary today, so you can table it until next meeting once everybody's had a chance to look at it.
I think I'd like to do that. I was just kind of curious, the incredible leap. I mean, are you guys basing that on like averages of, the different boards that you guys represent?
Yes and no. I mean, it's been we've been underbilling for quite a while, to be honest.
Okay.
And part of the reason is they raised my billing rate, which is not a big deal. It was only 10% maybe. But as the needs of the district have grown, my time has increased substantially.
Okay.
And now we're adding another district. But yes, I do have 6 other districts. For example, St. Joe County is probably my highest billing. It's like $17.50 a month. That's a little more involved than you guys. Obviously, I spent more
Definitely.
time on it.
Bigger
But then I've got 2 districts that have 400 to 500 connections in Marshall County that are at the 1175 level. So that's
Okay.
kind of what I based it on, that and the amount of time that I'm spending in my billing rate. I think it's
Basically,
still
were we paying hourly before?
no. It's a fixed fee.
It was a fixed fee. Okay.
And it was set at a time when we didn't have phase 2, I don't think, was
Right.
fully in effect. And,
Okay.
I mean, the increase in the size of the district is going to affect Steve more than it will affect me. Legal work is legal work somewhat, whether you have 500 users or 5,000 users. But I suspect it affects his work much more.
So definitely take all that into consideration,
Well,
right? We have grown.
we've grown.
Yeah, I
and
mean, I tried to keep it as. Sorry, make sure my mic was on. I tried to keep it as low as I could for a while until you guys obviously get up and running. But I've kind of hit a pinch point where I've got to raise it.
Okay. So we'll just, everybody want to look that over and we'll make a decision, I guess.
Okay. Do we need to make a motion to table it or
No,
just bring it back?
just carry it over to the next meeting.
Carry it over and we'll make a
Okay.
decision.
Moving on to old business. Rate ordinance.
Yeah, that is squarely in my court now. So I've got to review it. I'll get any comments I have, try and get them before the April meeting so that I don't know what the next step after me. I think it goes then to the engineering committee, correct, Jennifer?
Yeah,
Likely.
I think that's probably,
Because I can certainly look at it to kind of look and compare it to the old rate ordinances that we have, all the different variations and amendments.
yeah, that's
Then with regard to technical issues, Steve and Jerry will probably want to weigh in on that for a lot of areas that I'm just no expert on.
right.
Okay. Anything else? Old business?
I don't think there's anything else.
Okay.
Oh, yes.
Entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second?
We got motion and second to adjourn. Any questions on the motion? Proceed to vote. All those in favor signify by word aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Meeting adjourned. 9:42.